Take Two with Jerry and Debbie starts now.
Are you ready? Are you ready to jump back into society? That's what we're asking today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We want to know if you are willing to go 100% back into the world. Once you get the green light, of course. That's what we're looking for today. Your takes on this, your thoughts about it. I'm Debbie Georgiani with Jerry Usher. And as we always say, you are the key person. You are the teacher here. So Jerry, I'm looking forward to this topic. The title is, how likely are you willing to jump back in 100% to society when the pandemic is over?
Well, it is a great question, and I think it will have a lot to do with how swiftly or not swiftly things are reopened. I think it's going to be if it's in phases, but that might be helpful to us, Debbie, when you think about that, because if they were to just say everything is open, it's like it was 2 months ago, people would go, well, I'm not sure, how far I want to get back involved with things. So that's our question today, folks. Just what is on your mind and your heart? God willing, this is the country's going to be reopened, maybe little by little here in the coming days and weeks. So what are your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions as you think about reintegrating into our culture? Are you going to wear masks? Are you going to avoid handshakes? Are you going to go to the gym? Are you going to go to a restaurant? These are some of the things that you might want to be thinking about.
I got my designer masks handmade by Laura Sweet. Thank you, Laura. I got them yesterday. They're beautiful. As you know, my signature color, black. I love black. And so she did a little tapestry and different ones. But Jerry, we're asking that of our listeners today. So here's the number. We already got some folks that have weighed in via text and email and on YouTube and Facebook. So thank you for that. We'll be reading those shortly. In fact, Jerry's got them all pulled up, ready to go. But here's the number for you to call in to get on the show. 833-288-3986. You see how nicely I said that, but nice and slowly? I mean, everybody say, slow down so we can start dialing. Okay, that's the best I can do.
Well, when you're enthused about something, and I know you and I, Debbie, are enthused about this program every day, and we thank, by the way, the show team. Michael is in place, Michael Birchfield, Jeff Burson, Ryan Penny, and thank you, affiliates, for carrying the program. And you always have something to say to drive the program today, and this is probably something you've been thinking about as the discussion has turned more and more to let's get things rolling again, let's get our cities, our counties, our states, the country open again, maybe little by little. So as you think about this, just ponder just for a second the things you used to do, the activities you did, the places you went, the people you visited, how you kind of ran your life. Do you see yourself, just plunging right back in? Are you going to have some reservations about this? I mean, it's a very important conversation. So again, that number that Debbie gave, and I'll try to give it as slow as you did, 833-288-3986.
Some folks like to just wander through the malls and, grocery stores just to kind of, just relax a little, kind of zone out a little bit. Do you ever see yourself doing that again? How about going to a sporting event? I mean, I know some folks are trying to figure out, Jerry, I've heard this, that they're trying to figure out how to put a hole in the mask so you can stick a straw so right. You could at least have something to drink while you're at a sporting event or a concert. Okay, that's very creative. I don't know how safe that's going to be, but it's very interesting and people are wondering. And then, of course, what about church? Okay, that's our community. That's where we, build strong Christian friends. That's where we go to, different ministry opportunities like Bible studies and adult formation groups. And how is that going to feel? I mean, when you're talking to somebody 6 feet away and talking about the Bible, I mean, is it going to feel a little strange? And then our producer, Jeff Burson just said, what about going to the movies again? I love going to the movies. That's going to feel weird. I mean, supposedly you can't even sit next to your loved one. You have to be, that's going to be a little difficult sharing popcorn, right?
Right. Well, as Debbie said, we can be contacted a number of ways. One of those is by posting at take2show.com. And we got a note there from Liz just this morning. Hi, Debbie and Jerry. I hadn't been listening to your daily Take Two show much since the shutdown. I was listening in the car as I drove to and from my clients' homes. I'm a dog walker. I'm in my 60s and have been sticking to the guidelines as much as possible and avoiding public places like the grocery store as much as possible. In fact, I've just started using Instacart to deliver my groceries, and I just got my personal masks yesterday. Yay! It's going to be a while before I will throw caution to the wind and go to too many places. Liz says, I live in Maryland and have a wonderful common sense governor who is taking every precaution possible to protect everyone, much of it without help from the federal government. When Governor Hogan says it's okay, then it will be okay. Even then, I will use my own sense of good judgment to move forward. So that's a good point, Debbie. What if the governor, the president, the mayor, they come out and say, all right, it's go for it, folks. It's wide open. Are people gonna feel that within themselves, and have that kind of confidence jumping right into things?
Yeah, it's going to be very strange. Is this going to be our new normal, or are we going to get back to what we remember? And that's an interesting topic as well. So any which way you want to discuss this, just call in at 833-288-3986. And I just want to share this, Jerry, just a little bit of information that might be of interest to our listeners. First, we're talking about jumping back in, and that's hard to do sometimes. And people may feel, all sorts of things are going through your mind and even subconsciously. We're here to help. I don't know if you know this, but we have a ministry of certified life coaches in disaster recovery and restart. And that's exactly what we've been through or we're going through. And so if you are interested in getting some assistance, and we'll happily walk with you to plan out your dreams. Yes, that's right. You do have you can still dream for 2020, and you can move ahead, and that's what we're here to help you with a Catholic lens. Okay, very important. Go to standtalltoday.com. Check out the growing list of coaches, and you'll just be so I think delighted that you can pick a coach and work with them, and it'll be great.
Yeah, no risk at all. The consultation is free. And I love the way you put that, Debbie. A lot of us may be emerging, hopefully soon, from this pandemic and life as it has been for the last several weeks or a couple months, and wondering, can I even ever achieve those dreams that I had, those goals that I have? Are they still valid for my life? Our answer to that is yes. We can move forward. We can move forward with confidence, with caution at the same time. But as Debbie mentioned, we've got a team of certified professional coaches, including disaster relief and restart coaching. So give that a thought. It's no obligation whatsoever. Go to standtalltoday.com and check out the coaches that we have and register for your free no-risk consultation. Right back. On Easter.
Looking for a 2020 view on how Catholics are voting in the upcoming election? EWTN News and Real Clear Opinion Research are partnering to bring you clear and concise data on where the nation stands on issues, candidates, policies, and more by surveying Americans, including Catholics like you. And it's available now at EWTNnews.com/poll.
We pray because we want to come into union with God. He wants to breathe His life into us, and we want to accept that life, because in accepting that life, we begin to experience the abundance that He has in mind for us to receive. Pray to God. Lift your praises high to God and present to Him every supplication that you might find the grace you need for the present moment that He presents to you. Everything good comes from prayer, says Mother Teresa of Calcutta, and so it is true.
Check out EWTN's official YouTube channel.
Just follow the link on our homepage at EWTN.com or go to YouTube.com/EWTN.
Watch EWTN's live shows or today's homily from the Daily Mass.
Click the upload button to see our most recent clips.
You can also find all of EWTN YouTube content by clicking the playlist button.
It's all on the official EWTN YouTube channel at YouTube.com/EWTN.
Visit.
Are you ready to go 100% back into the world once we get the green light once they say the coast is clear. We want to hear from you. 833-288-3986. Let's talk about it and see if we can learn a little, grow a little. That's what Take Two is all about. Just real quickly, I wanted to highlight a very special show that's near and dear to us. We just love her to pieces. Teresa Tomeo, Catholic Connection. It's tomorrow morning, 9 Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, on EWTN Radio. Teresa and her guests share their Catholic perspective on the day's news. And she's just does a wonderful job. Cannot say enough good things about Teresa Tomeo. She puts her heart and soul into it. I just love that about her. So, folks, check out Catholic Connection, 9 Eastern Time.
Great. And I would love to also hear from people, Debbie, how life has been going for them during the shutdown, the stay at home. We've talked about that on some previous shows. But as we talk about today, how swiftly or quickly or eagerly do you think you'll kind of go back into things as they open up? Has your life really been all that different than it was before? For some, it has been. I'll be honest with you, Debbie. For me, I've stayed at home most of the time, but anytime I've needed to go out to the grocery store, to the post office, the pharmacy, whatever, it just has felt like kind of like life was before, and I presume that's because we have not had quite as much of a crackdown or a shutdown as some other people have, but love to hear people's perspective on that too.
Okay, I want to know something. This is very, very important, I think, to the discussion. Your precious dog, Duke, has his life changed at all, or does he still go for walks and get his treats and nothing's changed for Duke?
Nothing has changed except the number of walks that he goes on every day. We're up to about 3. He knows the time of the walks, and he knows too if he'll come up obviously looking like he wants to go for a walk, and I may say, well, Duke, not right now. I have to go out and run some errands. I'll be back in 1 hour, then we'll go for a walk. Debbie, I walk in the door, and he's like waiting there, and he understands 1 hour, and when I get home, he's almost human. He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Next, you're going to get him a watch for his little paw or something. That would be a treat. Okay. Our friend Trisha and Jerry, she sends her love to you. Our friend Trisha said, I am 100% ready to jump back in, completing RCIA. She wants to complete RCIA. Way to go, Trisha. Going to Mass, women's Bible study, seeing friends, and of course, next is her grand treasures. She's so ready for them to go back to school, soccer, dance, cross country. Maybe she's not too excited about the homework, but she's excited about everything else. I love it, Tricia. But I just love how you said that, completing RCIA. You're with a fine group of individuals waiting to come into the church. And we just hope that happens. I hear that some dioceses are looking into Pentecost, maybe for folks to come in, others maybe a little bit later in the year. I'll tell you what, it's going to be tears of joy the day that you, Tricia, and everyone else comes into the church. And it's just beautiful. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. 833-288-3986. Join us in this conversation. Probably a lot of different thoughts and attitudes about this. Debbie, what about you? How eager or willing are you to try to resume life as you knew it before when things start to open up? Well, I've often said this, I think through this pandemic, it's like, welcome to my world. I tend to live a little bit of a kind of a germaphobe kind of existence. So I'm used to washing my hands. I'm used to having, antibacterial, wipes and stuff like that. I'm used to that. So for me, I don't think it's going to change very much other than the idea of putting on a mask if you go into a massive gathering or something of that nature. But it doesn't really bother me that much. I'm not trying to sound like I'm better or anything like that. Please understand that I struggle every day of my life. But I just have a lot of faith. I really do believe that my guardian angel is beside me, going before me, protecting and guarding and guiding. And I feel pretty confident. And I can't honestly say I'll 100% jump back in right away, Jerry. But I think a good maybe, 50, and then I'll move up to 75, and then I'll be back, hopefully, if the world allows it. Who knows, We may have this may be our new normal.
Well, yeah, and I've given thought to this question as well, and I think as soon as restaurants open up, that night I'm going to go out to my favorite restaurant and have dinner. And when churches open up, I'm absolutely going right back to church. And I have tickets to a worship concert in San Diego in a couple months. If that event is on, I'm going. I'll wear a mask if I have to. I'll wash my hands until they're getting wrinkled and stuff like that. But I am, I'm trying not to let the fear control us here, but while being prudent at the same time. If that makes sense. So I'm looking forward to it.
I totally agree. Well, you got to live. You can't, but you're right. Having that, the judgment of what to do and what not to do and what's best for your family and friends, and, because you don't want to expose anybody, we get it. You have to really look at all the aspects of it. But here's something I'm looking at right now. There are a few open phone lines. Are you kidding me? You don't have anything to say about this? Come on, you guys. Light up those phone lines. Of course you do. Jerry and I cannot be the only ones that are thinking if we're going to 100% jump back in or not. We want to hear from you. Please, you don't have to be Catholic to call in. If you're listening right now, just tell us how you feel. We just want to talk about it. We want to see what's going on with everybody. 833-288-3986. That's the number to call. You'll speak to Ryan. He's so sweet.
Okay. We do have some calls on the line, so if you're there, we'll get to you, starting with Brandy, who called first from Houston, listening on the EWTN app. Hi, Brandy. Welcome to Take Two.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, better now that you called, Brandy.
Great. Well, I for one, am 100% ready to just jump back in. I have 3 small kids, and, it's just, it's hard to, really just have that, feeling of I want to hold back and take my time, especially when you have 3 small children who just, they need to get out and see the world and interact. And, the last thing they need is to be taught fear and timidity in the face of this kind of thing. They need to just go out there and live life. And, it's just this is just a fact of life sort of thing. Things like this are going to happen occasionally. And that doesn't mean that you can't live your life. I've been, it has kind of opened my eyes somewhat to, sort of the mindset of others around me, that people would be posting on social media in my surrounding neighborhood about, should you really have a bounce house in your driveway, when, it was just someone having their own kids bounce in a bounce house, but everyone wanted to flip out and turn into little miniature dictators over it. And it's really, I think that people need to cool it and calm down and just, kind of take a deep breath and realize everything is going to work out,
Yeah, I agree with you on so many aspects of that, because, with children, it's hard enough. I know when I raised my 2 boys, it was hard. I had the little Purell, on their backpacks and everything. And I would say, okay, kids, if you go near anything dirty or touch anything or somebody sneezes, put a little bit on your hands. And, and they had those kind of standard kind of precautions, if you will. But if you go overboard with children, you really do. These poor kids, you're right. They need to be children and to explore and to grow and to, I can't even imagine, Brandy, what it's like to raise little ones right now in this new world, because it's just, to me, it's I think an added pressure for all you moms and dads that, it's got to be really tough. Anything else you wanted to share about that?
It's kind of, it's tough right now. Thankfully me and my husband were pretty, calm about it. We've been trying to take walks around the neighborhood, and, our kids, they're still little enough. One of them is old enough. She kind of gets what's going on. But, we've tried to keep our heads on straight about it. And, she's not freaking out, which is good, because, there are so many kids that are really, very worried right now. And it's just, I think the adults sometimes get a little too wrapped up in this stuff. And, I understand it's a serious situation, but it's I'm ready for the world to start returning to normal, for people to start getting their jobs back, for people to just be able to live normal lives. Because, I've had lots of family members who have lost jobs, too. And it's just a crazy time right now. And as long as since the threat is subsiding, there's no reason to continue with this lockdown as it is and to live in a state of fear.
Yeah, I think we would agree in general with you, Brandy, on this. And, it's obviously going to depend on a lot of things. The governors are going to take medical advice and business people's advice, and the president's going to do all of that. But a lot of it has to do also with, I guess, some of the areas which are maybe harder hit. So we may see some places roll out, back to normal, quote unquote, life in phases faster than others. But God bless you. It sounds like you do have a good balance with this. You and your husband are not at all, ignoring the fact that there is a very real threat here. But having those little kids trying to, like you said, make sure that they grow up in a world that is sort of, quote unquote, normal for kids growing up. I think that's very important.
Absolutely. And Brandy, you just said something that just made me think of a situation my husband and I had a couple days ago with we have a lot of little kids in our neighborhood, a lot. I mean, we are like the old folks in the middle of this young, just playground of little kids. And they're so cute and they love coming up to our house. They're constantly, their Nerf guns and everything are going into our yard, and they're constantly knocking on our doors saying, hey, can we get our little sponge things back? No problem, kids. But the other day it was so weird, Jerry and Brandy. It was so weird. My husband and I were taking the car out, for a drive around the neighborhood because your car is sitting idle for, several days. And two of the kids that normally run up to us, okay, they started to come towards us and they did an about face as quick as possible. It was so sad. And I just yelled out their names and I said, hi, you guys, how you doing? They said, hi. And you could tell they had this look of fear, like, should I get too close? Now, have been their neighbors for 7 years. So you're right, Brandy. That bothers me, that fear that they're feeling. So any last comments before we let you go?
No, I mean, I just agree. And I do hope that, I'm glad you're an understanding neighbor. I just do hope that more of the folks who don't have little ones at home can be understanding, with their neighbors who do, because there are, they have to play outside and, interact with each other in the neighborhood or they're going to go totally nuts. Some people have been very, critical of seeing groups of children outside playing. And, it's just, I don't know. I just think you got to have some level of normalcy.
I agree. I totally agree, especially when children are concerned. It's too hard on them as it is. This world is tough as it is, and you add that one more layer of pressure to them. I don't agree with that either. What do you think, Jerry? You were a kid once. Long ago.
Yeah, we did all sorts of, goofy and probably unsafe things. But I think the key here is balance, making sure that you provide that upbringing, that environment for children that is going to help them feel that life is as quote unquote normal as it can be. But at the same time, taking precautions. And I'm sure that, Brandy, you and your husband are going to do that. And so we're going to pray for you, pray for all people, especially people with children who want to get their kids back in school maybe, or some of the clubs and activities that they were in, or just simply interacting with the neighbors again. So hopefully that will all be part of what we are able to experience here in the not too distant future. So thank you, Brandy, for your very insightful call from Houston. We appreciate that, to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. The number is 833-288-3986, talking about when things are opened up in your area. How willing or how eager are you going to be to get back involved? 833-288-3986.
Our friend Allison, who's a nurse, she sent us a picture of her new wardrobe, and she said, welcome to my world. Here at work, we're really going to take our time with reentry. Here's my wardrobe for the foreseeable future. For now, you'll have to just imagine my smile. She has a beautiful a smile underneath her mask. I mean, you can just tell because you can tell through her eyes. And she just says, she's cute. She says, just hope I can get a haircut before it gets completely wild. She said, sending love and laughter, Jesus is Lord. But you know what? You got to have a sense of humor. That's why Allison is so beautiful. She just does she's just such an amazing person. And you know what? You got to keep that laughter. I agree with that, Jerry.
Yeah, it can be very difficult. There's a lot of very, very, very sad things going on right now, and we don't want to minimize any of that. But God can be found in any circumstance, and there can even be There could even be maybe a joy in the Lord of knowing that the Lord is still on the throne and He is in control of everything. And to that end, Debbie, we just got an email from Ida, and Ida said, amidst the chaos, I would love to hear about what joy people are experiencing or what makes people joyful. She says, I will start. And she says 5 things: flowers, hugging, laughing, music, and doing crafts. And she says, I could go on, smiley face. And she lives in Boston, listening on the Station of the Cross. So there you go.
I love that. We did that show last week, I believe, on the joy, the wonderful stories in the midst of this pandemic. So yeah, I love adding that. Okay, there's a couple open phone lines. We'd love to hear from you. You have plenty of time to get on the show, but don't wait any longer. Otherwise, we'll leave you hanging on the line when the show will close. 833-288-3986. That's the number to call. And please share if you're ready to jump back in 100% or not, and why. We want to hear.
It's a simple conversation here. There are no opinions or rights or wrongs. It's just how you feel about this personally and with your family. All right, Rob in Cleveland, listening on The Rock. You will be next momentarily, sir. We've got Kelly on the line and Joanne, and as Debbie said, an open phone line for you to weigh in on this interesting conversation at 833-288-3986. And so much more.
This is Father Donald Calloway. Join me for our 33-day consecration to St. Joseph after the Rosary with Father Benedict Groeschel tonight, 9:30 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Hey, Take Two family, it's here, and we can't wait for you to see what we've created to help you reach your highest potential in life. It's StandTallToday.com, our brand new website loaded with just the things you're looking for. Those include our team of life coaches, resources picked out just for you, our webinars, book club, and more. Whether you're struggling to find your purpose or feel like you have it pretty much figured out, let us help you today at StandTallToday.com. That's StandTallToday.com.
Hello, family. Our world has been turned upside down by the coronavirus pandemic. Concern for our loved ones, economic uncertainty, and of course, social distancing. It's easy to understand why there's such great anxiety and fear in the world. I'm convinced that God is using this moment to bring us closer to Him and to strip away the distractions of our normal daily lives, and that He is calling us to place our trust in Him. In this difficult moment, EWTN is a great spiritual resource that can help you, your family, and friends make sense of the chaos. Of course, EWTN is where you can turn for Mass every day. In addition to our television and radio channels, you can also find the Mass, live Eucharistic adoration, the Rosary, and other devotions on our web and video on-demand platforms. And of course, EWTN News will continue to provide you with the latest updates on the pandemic, as well as other current events around the world from a Catholic perspective. Please know that we're praying for you, and let's also join together in prayer for our EWTN family around the world. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Tomorrow on More to Life, all stressed up and no place to go.
Feeling stressed and stuck will help set you free.
Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
As always, we love hearing from you about what you think. We try to bring a topic that is of some interest to the program, something that will resonate with you, and you are the drivers of the show. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio, talking today about your willingness, your eagerness, your passion for trying to get back to some sense of a normal life as soon as things start to open up again. Are you going to be a little hesitant, reserved? Are you just going to go for the gusto? Are you going to follow some guidelines for safety? We all ought to do that. So we're taking your calls on that question right now. And Rob, as promised, is next in Cleveland, listening on The Rock. First-time caller to Take Two. Hi, Rob. Welcome.
Hey, Rob.
Welcome. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Debbie. Thank you for letting me be on. And the reason I think this is a great topic, and I think there may be some people hesitating to call because they're so full of opinions and maybe even in their areas some facts. But I think there's a better reason to get started back in society physiologically as well as, and more importantly, theologically, and especially as Catholics. I think we're called to not fear and trust in you, Jesus. I think the graces that are given to us through Mass, baptism, confirmation, communion, the Rosary, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and all those wonderful, graceful things that God has given us as Catholics. We're called to lead and be the first ones out there. Of course, with caution and with prudence. But in my line of work, I have not been asked. I'm one of those essential workers. I go into buildings, poor areas, rich areas, commercial and industrial areas, testing heating and cooling water. And I don't see many people fearful out there. And I really, Debbie, feel bad for those children in your neighborhood. I'm not sure where they're hearing that. But Jerry, you said balance. Of course, that's key. But I think as Catholics, we're called to lead, not fear. And as we're called through the Divine Mercy Chaplet, I trust in you, Jesus.
Well, Rob, I completely agree with you. And I just wanted to say something. Jerry and I taped 2 shows with at home with Jim and Joy Pinto on EWTN television. And they're going to air tomorrow at 1 Eastern Time, noon Central, and on Friday. And same time at 1 Eastern Time, noon Central. And I talked about that, Rob, and I want to thank you so very much because this morning when I woke up and I was doing my morning prayers, I said to God, oh, I forgot the Divine Mercy Chaplet. We had a little bit of technical difficulties when we were on the show, and so I was trying to rattle through things as fast as I could. And I said it similar to what you said, although you said it better, Rob. I said to folks, this is the perfect time right now for us to be praying the St. Michael prayer twice a day, morning and evening, the Rosary, the Chaplet of Divine Mercy, the Angelus, to be watching Mass on TV or listening on the radio, to dive deeper into the spiritual communion benefits. This is an awesome time for us to get spiritually ready and prepared, but in a way that brings confidence to our life, not added fear. Did I get that right, Rob? I hope I said it because I said it on Jim and Joy for tomorrow, and I just want to make sure I was okay because I was rattling pretty quick, but you did better, Rob.
No, I appreciate what you said. Absolutely. And I think through the graces that we are provided with an open heart and an abandonment to our Lord, we can go forward without fear. And right now, I am doing that 33 days of consecration to St. Joseph, and I firmly believe through his graces that are provided through him and his blessed wife, Mary, we can move forward without fear. And, this is the time for St. Joseph.
It really is.
We're doing it as well. Yeah. We love
in fact,
that.
I've got that book right here. Those of you watching on Facebook and YouTube, I'll hold it up here. It's by, this sounds like we had choreographed this, but I happen to have the book right next to me, Rob. Consecration to St. Joseph, The Wonders of Our Spiritual Father by Father Donald Calloway. And I'm actually currently reading something for my spiritual reading, but that's going to be my next undertaking there. But you're so right about fear. Do we need to be prudent? Yes. Do we need to be cautious? Yes. Do we need to be safe? Yes. The Bible is so full of exhortations to not be afraid. I think it's a human reaction, a human instinct to be afraid. Even the angel at the Annunciation said, "Mary, do not be afraid." So it may be a part of human nature to allow that to come in momentarily. But like you said, Rob, there are ways that we can banish that. And that is by engaging in all of these prayers and watching Mass on TV and really going to our guardian angels. Debbie, I know you would be big on that. So I'm hearing what you're saying, Rob. I agree with it.
There is one spiritual part out there that does want us to fear and not refill the churches right now. And through those supernatural graces, we can overcome those physiological fears that naturally come with us. But it is absolutely and absolutely truthful. God does provide us with those graces, or I would be hiding. I think many more people would be hiding. But those supernatural graces can lift us up and move us forward without feeling nervous, anxious, or utterly fearful. And I appreciate what you guys do. Brandy did a great job of representing Houston, and your nurse friend, Allison, thank God for her. But as Catholics, this is the time for us to lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so you know, Allison is from New Jersey. So we got Houston covered, and you're in Cleveland, and she's in New Jersey. So I think people are feeling it all across the United States. Rob, thank you so much. Okay, you can never be a first-time caller again, so you got to call back. And I just love the rock. I feel so blessed to be able to do your spring share-a-thon, which is coming up in May 13th, Rob. So you'll hear me again for 3 days straight. I hope you don't get sick of me.
Oh, boy.
Now, did Rob go away?
No.
Did you go away, Rob?
He was stunned silence.
No, you're an inspiration. You're an inspiration, and I will be donating.
Good.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you. What a great
Thanks,
call.
Rob.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. We've got more New Jersey coming up with Kelly and Joanne in Minnesota next, but I want to use that as a springboard again. This was not scripted or anything, folks, but we know of stations that have had to postpone or cancel their spring fund drives this time of year because of the pandemic. And Debbie and I want to issue, I'm going to speak for Debbie here, we want to issue you a most genuine, heartfelt invitation. Even if your station postpones it, cancels it, whatever, call them today. Call them today and say, thank you for what you do. I need you always, but I need you especially right now. Who's been giving you, the information about our Catholic faith and maybe trying to tamp down some of that fear? It's your Catholic radio station and EWTN. So please be generous when they come to you, because we need Catholic radio on the air, I think, now more than ever.
Absolutely. And wouldn't that be a nice surprise for your local listening area if they got a call from you today and you said, hey, I heard on Jerry and Debbie, I need to donate to my local listening area. That would be such a treat for them. You have no idea. They will just be praising God and thanking God. So please do that. Make that call. I think it's beautiful. And Rob, if you're still listening, I hope you tuned back in after you dropped off the line. You got a new friend in Allison in New Jersey. She heard what you said, the shout out to her. And she says, hi back to you, Rob. You see how beautiful the Take Two family is? We just all get to know each other right away. It's like one big, gigantic family. I love it.
Well, we have that line that Rob was on available now, 833-288-3986. If you've just tuned in to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, our topic today is as things start to open up by city, jurisdictions, governments, the president, the nation, how willing are you going to be to jump back in, maybe 100%? Are you going to dip a couple toes in the pool, maybe start wading in slowly? That's our conversation today at 833-288-3986. And we will go to Joanne, as promised, in Dawson, Minnesota, listening on Sirius XM 130, and a first-time caller. Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome to you.
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm ready to hop back in. I live in a small town in rural Minnesota. We just don't live like metro people live. For instance, this shutdown, it's been a difference in my life, but not as major as living in a metropolis. We have one case in our county, and it was because he was traveling in Europe. And I'm a cosmetologist. I had to shut down my salon on March 17th. I think it's ridiculous. And as the last caller talked about, was this fear. And I had a little fear at first. And then I remembered thinking, I think we all have to get this in order to build an immunity toward, against this. And I had a little fear then. And then I thought, why am I afraid? If I am not afraid to die because of my great belief in Jesus Christ, why am I afraid? And that just changed me. So today, I am on my way to see 8 of my 14 grandchildren because it's Amelia's birthday today. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to go see them. And I'm just excited about it because I miss them. So I'm ready to jump.
Who wouldn't be with those beautiful grandkids, Joanne?
Amelia,
Thank you for your
it's
call.
birthday. Yeah.
What's that?
It's Amelia's birthday today.
Well, happy birthday to
she's
Amelia.
11 today.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, we've got 8 grandchildren that live in one area, and then we've got 14 total. And my daughter, who is an RN, and she does home health care, we got together with them for Easter because they only live a half hour from us. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten together with them several times. And beautiful. I'm glad we have. Yeah.
Well, Joanne, can you great take on this? Absolutely wonderful. Could you tell Amelia? I'm big on this of saying a prayer to God, thanking God that Amelia was born, because she's going to make a difference in this world. So if you could let her know that somebody is praying for her, saying that, thanking God that she was born.
I will.
She may not. Yeah, she may not know who we are, but if that's okay, it's just
okay. No, and during Lent we had given up TV for Lent, my husband and I, and fortunately we've got a new relevant radio station half hour from us, and we could never get it in before because I would imagine they don't have enough watts or something. But about maybe a month before Lent, I started getting it in my salon. And so then I tried at home. And really, that's the first I've listened to your program. And I've been listening to it since then. So it's been wonderful. It's been a great help for me. You know, the Divine Mercy Chaplet every day at 3, Mass, Rosary. You know, it's just been wonderful.
It is a great blessing, Joanne. And again, going back to what we said before, people, please, start with EWTN. They need your financial support. They provide programming free of charge to all of their affiliates, and that saves Catholic radio stations literally millions, and over the time that they've been doing that, probably billions of dollars in programming costs. But then the folks who sacrifice greatly to put your brick and mortar station on the air, please be sure that you call and make a pledge for them as well, because a lot of them are struggling and really suffering right now and giving their all, even mortgaging their own homes and stuff to keep their radio stations on the air. So please be generous. And Joanne, thank you. Give hugs to all those beautiful grandkids. And again, tell them, what did you say, Debbie? Thank God Emily was born. Amelia, I'm sorry.
Amelia was born.
Yeah. Okay,
she's 11.
Great.
Wow.
Well, thank you too for your program too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, please call again. I mean, I know you got that first-time caller virtual award, but so call us anytime, Joanne. Or you can always drop us an email. I mean, if you take a picture with you and the grandkids, we love pictures. So you can always email us at take2@EWTN.com. We have so many pictures of the Take Two family. It's just great. We should put together like a scrapbook or something.
Yeah,
thanks,
scrapbook.
Joanne.
Thank you, Joanne, so much. Speaking of getting information, I want to point out, too, EWTN has the Catholic News Agency, the only fast, reliable, and free Catholic news source that brings blogs, stories, opinions, and more to your fingertips. For the latest Catholic news, visit CatholicNewsAgency.com, an online service from EWTN News.
Okay. We're going to move on to Kelly. Kelly is in Margate, New Jersey on the EWTN app. Hi, Kelly. Welcome.
Hello, Debbie and Jerry.
Hi, Kelly. Good to have you back on.
Thank you. I have been impacted. I mean, we've all been impacted, but I have a son who lives in New York City who's still living there, working remotely. And I had a mom who was recovering from hip surgery during this time, and we were isolated from her for 30 days before she was released from recovering from her hip surgery. And the isolation really, really almost destroyed her. Being stuck in that place and, not just all the level of care that you get is not what you get from when you're with your family. And it's impacted me personally in a couple ways, but I saw how the isolation was really, really damaging to people. And then, so I think that, we can't think either or. And as Catholics, that's one of the brilliance of the Catholic mind and the Catholic formation is we're able to make distinctions. And so when we get in this either or thinking, it's it's not real smart and it's dangerous. And I think that a lot of the information we got in the beginning was, in the unknown. So things are changing and evolving, and the herd immunity is becoming, more of a focus than just shutting down our lives and isolating and, changing our country. The other thing about the country and our personal liberties, I really think that we have to consider that there's always an agenda to take away our civil liberties. And the beauty of America is that we were founded on liberty. We didn't, they didn't say, we're not going to have the American Revolutionary War because people are going to die. Not to say we don't take this contagion seriously. It is contagious. But our liberties and the liberties of the next generation and the next generation, we can't just cower and not put this in the proper perspective. So I really think we have to be very careful about understanding that there are agendas that want to deprive us of our civil liberties. And, it is for freedom that Christ set us free, and we should not put on a yoke of slavery. So we're not going to be silent and, get on the train or, just kind of be good little soldiers without a perspective on knowing that there is an agenda to take away our civil liberties, and they will use this crisis to do it. So I think that's an important thing to throw out there. And, of course, we learned a lot about the globalist agenda and how the supply chain to China and all of these greedy corporations that have done that have, caused our country to also be put in a detrimental situation. So some things are coming to light that I think we can all learn from. And that's what I wanted to say. And as far as the getting back to church, I did put out a suggestion list to the priests in my diocese to how we can get back to church safely, and they're reasonable. And if, we can go to stores and other things and be safe, we can also go to church and be safe. It's going to take a little extra work, but priests can do it, and pastors can do it, and we can help them. I was a little disappointed that a lot of our clergy were not seen in this time, and one visual I have is the lineup that was out of the firefighters and policemen that were out encouraging those heroic medical workers, especially in New York, because they were so overworked. And there wasn't really representation from Catholic priest. And that was disappointing to me, because it's not a time, it's like, come on, the Catholic priests are meant to be heroes. They're meant to be on the front line. We all, we can all be heroic. But that was disappointing to me that they would just so easily kind of disappeared from the scene. And I just wanted to say, we need our priests to be heroes for us as well.
Yeah, Kelly, thank you for your great takes, your emails. We love it when we hear from you via email as well. You've got some very beautiful convictions about so many things, and they came through articulately on this call. A couple things I wanted to point out that you were talking about. One, the fear is really the factor that leads to the elimination of civil liberties, because it gets to a point where those who are kind of driving the fear, and I'm not saying there's not reason to be concerned here. Like you reiterated that, Kelly, but sometimes those who drive the fear narrative are the ones who want to, like you said, take away our civil liberties. And we got to keep a very close eye on this in the coming weeks and months and years. And you also mentioned, let's see, what was I going to comment on? Being away from family, friends, and loved ones, that can be brutal. And I just, my heart goes out, Debbie and Kelly, to any family member, loved one who is in a hospital bed, in an ICU, in some situation where their family can't even get to them. Maybe they can FaceTime or something, but to be so separated from one another, that's just not natural for us. We are communal beings. And so what do you think, Debbie?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many points that you make, Kelly, that, you're right on top of things. I mean, you're staying current with everything. And, I think we just have to look at this from all different angles. I understand, like we just got, as you were speaking, Kelly, because you're from New Jersey, one of our other Take Two family members just said, well, can you say a prayer for the 4,377 corona deaths in New Jersey and the 10,344 New York deaths? Okay. And so people are trying to get their feelings of the importance of how we have to look at this from all different angles and what we have to remember. And of course, that's what we're not disregarding certain issues and things. We're not saying that. We're just saying, well, you have to have these healthy conversations so that people can process things. And I think, Kelly, you bring a lot of good insight to different areas that we need to just be aware of. And so thank you, Kelly. Always enjoy hearing from you. And we appreciate all you do. And you love your Catholic faith so deeply, and it shows. So, but you see what I'm saying, Jerry? Everybody's got a different, what's really on their heart about this coronavirus, and it's tough. It's tough to say, well, I'm falling on one side, or I'm thinking another way. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, Kelly, for the sake of time, we want to get another call or two, and if we can, thank you for joining us. Rob is in Greeley, Colorado, listening on Catholic Radio Network. First-time caller. Rob, I hate to do this to you. You got about 90 seconds, brother.
Okay. The reason I called, I tend to listen to your radio all the time, first-time caller, as you mentioned. But I think the one thing, gosh, there's so many things. I'm almost 71. I've been a lifelong Catholic. I don't fear what we're dealing with here, but I think, as the churches did, I think one of the things we as Catholics value life. And I think what I'm hearing, the reason I called, is that we're forgetting that tens of thousands of people are dying. And I know our kids are grown, so I don't have to deal with homeschooling. But I think one thing we're called to sacrifice. And I think right now that's the bigger part of this. So we have been creative. The priests I've seen too hold confessions in parking lots. So I don't think our priests at all, or most have not. They've been very creative in this. I just wanted to call and share. I think we just got to realize what we're sacrificing here is we have a new disease that if we're out there exposing people, thousands are going to die. I would just say there was one, I wanted to get together. I have 4 kids and 13 grandkids. I wanted to get together, and my son reminded me of a family of 8 got together. And that weekend, the father came down with a disease from one of the kids. He was dead in 2 days. And I think that's part of the craziness of it right now. It's out there. We don't have a vaccine, and until we do, I think that's the greater part of this. We have to lean on this side of valuing life. That's why I called in.
Right. Right. We agree with you, Rob. That's exactly why we're trying to get all these different perspectives to see where people are at. And so this is very helpful. I heard about that story as well. That was tragic. And there's a couple more, I believe, out of New Jersey. The same thing happened. I mean, just so sad that it spread through a family so quickly, Jerry.
I know. It's horrible when that happens. And this whole thing, there have been so many uncertainties in all of this. I think maybe, Rob, thank you for your call and your very insightful take on that. We appreciate that. Maybe in our closing seconds, Debbie, we can just exhort our listeners. I know everybody's doing this already, but let's really ratchet up our prayers for those who are suffering, the souls of those who have died, their family members, those who are the doctors, nurses on the front lines trying to find treatments, maybe a vaccine for this. This is a horrible scourge on the world, and God alone is the source we need to go to, along with all those other things I mentioned. Grace builds on nature, so let's all be deep in prayer that we can get as back to normal and as open up as possible, in the near future.
Absolutely. Yes, we've got to go deep into prayer on this. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about, we want to know the personal changes you are going to make in your life, kind of that are going to be like permanent changes, after you re-engage in society, at work, in school. The permanent changes. It's going to be very interesting. And we also may get into some protests that are happening around the country. It's going to be a great show tomorrow. We hope you tune in for it. Another great way to see what the Take Two family's thinking, Jerry.
Yeah, indeed. So until tomorrow, we hope that you have a beautiful and blessed day. Pray for us, and you are always in our prayers. God bless.
Dr. Ray Guarendi avoiding all known forms of psychobabble. The doctor is in next on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Unplanned, the true story of Abby Johnson.
I would be the youngest director in Planned Parenthood history.
She believed in a woman's right to choose.
I've had an abortion myself, so I don't have any problem with another woman making the same decision.
Until the day she saw something that changed everything.
Tiny, perfect little baby. And then it was just gone.
Now she's pulling back the curtain on the abortion industry. Unplanned.
Available at EWTNRC.com and the EWTN app.
EWTN. Live